journaling time.
What's up, party people? How's everybody doing this evening? All right, we're gonna give a few minutes for everybody to trickle in. Got a really awesome journal jam session prepared for you this evening. All right, got some people showing up. Awesome, awesome, good deal. If you can't tell, I'm still out of office. I'm still down in well, actually, we moved from Encinitas down to Carlsbad to escape the wildfire situation. Um, but hopefully we'll be able to head back tomorrow. I think we LA's done despite what you've heard, they've done actually a decent job of getting these fires under control. But um, tonight actually there's supposed to be some winds that are a little concerning. And so we're hanging out in this Airbnb for tonight and hopefully everything stays under control and we can head back tomorrow. I miss my house. I miss my studio. It was so weird. I did an episode of the podcast like in a little bedroom in an Airbnb with just my AirPods, not my whole studio setup. But you know, you gotta do what you can. And actually, it's kind of apropos to tonight's topic, if you will, which is resourcefulness. I've been thinking a lot about that lately. Because I mean, look, nobody can deny that you're at an advantage if you are flush with resources. But I would argue that being resourceful is actually is actually more important. And so, even when you don't have, maybe you don't have, the money you need to do something, maybe you don't have the necessary tools you need to do something. What you do have is the best tool, which is your mind. And when you are resourceful, then you can get creative and you can start to make the best of your situation. And so that's certainly what we're trying to do over here, making the best of the situation, keeping the party going, the journal party, even though we've got even though we're on the run from the wildfires. But I think everything's going to be a-okay. So let's see who's showing up. We got Deidre's in the house. What's up? Oh, let me get this get the logo out of the way so I can read what you guys say. There you go. Mary's in the house. What's up, Mary? Katie's here. Loving the second journal. That's awesome. Deborah's here. Welcome, Deborah. Darlene's back. What's up? What's up? Got Lutra's here. We got Susan in the house. Nice, nice. All right, so we'll give it a minute or two before we get going. But I kind of gave you my spiel. Oh, Dee, that's really sweet. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're going to be a-okay. Actually, I'm feeling quite blessed that we were able to get out, and just have the luxury of being able to breathe some cleaner air. Unfortunately, I have several friends who have lost their homes, which is obviously terrible. But yeah, so I mean, if anything, save the prayers for the people who really need it. I am fortunate and blessed over here. All right. Ruth from Dallas. What's up, Ruth? Good to see you again. All right. Kathy Poo's here. Nice, 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 nice. All right, folks. Well, hopefully everyone's ready to get started. Go ahead, grab your journal. Is there anybody new in the house this evening? Let me know. I'll give you the rundown of what we do. It's pretty simple. I'm going to stream some journal prompts here. I'll read them. There will be some timers associated with that. Tonight we have 10 prompts. We're going to do 3 minutes for each prompt. And then at the end, we all just hang out and share our insights and talk. And it's a lot of fun. So, don't overthink it. There's no wrong way to do it. That's like my catchphrase now. But it's true. There's yeah, I think just the act of writing, thinking about things a little bit differently, just showing up for yourself in this way is a-okay and good enough. So, with that, let me find our program. This one lives in the gratitude and abundance vault, and like I said, the topic this evening is resourcefulness. So, cue this up. Let me just change our ticker here so people know what's going on. Cool. All right. Well, hopefully everyone is ready. I'm going to hit the start now button, if that's cool, and we'll get this party started. All right. Got some lo-fi jams for you this evening. I felt chill. Felt like we needed something a little mellow. All right. Resourceful moments. Think about a time when you made the most of limited resources. What did you learn from the experience? Go ahead and just start writing. Alrighty, next prompt. Hidden assets. List some skills, talents, or tools you often overlook. How could you use them more effectively? Adapt and overcome. Describe a challenge you're facing now. What's one unconventional solution you could try? Power of perspective. Imagine you're helping a friend solve your problem. What advice would you give them? Silver linings. Recall a time something didn't go as planned but turned out well. How can you apply that mindset today? Thinking outside the box. Write down three new ways to approach a goal you've been working on. Lessons from nature. Consider how animals or plants adapt to their environments. How can you mimic their resourcefulness in your life? Resourceful heroes. Who do you admire for their creativity or problem solving? How can you adopt their approach? Challenge into opportunity. What's one frustration in your daily life? How can you turn it into a tool for growth? All right, get ready for your last one, your inner toolkit. Imagine you have an invisible backpack filled with everything you need to succeed. What's inside of it? And don't say money. Alrighty, folks, go ahead and finish up your thoughts on page. And congratulations, we're through it. So hopefully you found that helpful. I came up with some good ideas. I kind of thought that in prepping this that I'd squeezed it all out, but you know, going through it again, I got some good stuff out of it. So, for those of you who are new, typically this is the part of the event where we consider the things that we've written. And if there's anything you want to share, you don't have to share what you wrote, but if you have any insights that you'd like to share, feel free to do so. And I know it can take a minute to enter everything into the chat box and everything. So I usually get us started here. So. Um, I was thinking about well, what have I learned? The first prompt in terms of resourceful moments, and this is something I've said on here a lot, and I think that it's something that I've learned the most in situations where I've had limited resources, and that is that there is a creative solution to every problem. And again, your mind is a wonderfully creative and powerful instrument, and when you put it to the task, it can often surprise you. Even if you thought that you were maybe shorthanded. So that's one of them, and then the other one. This is another sort of tenet that gets repeated a lot, which is whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And I mean, I suppose that has a little bit to do with our resolve, which is the topic of this week's podcast, if you haven't listened to it yet. Another thing that I came up with here is I was considering hidden assets and things that skills or whatever that I don't normally consider. And one is voiceover. I have this, well, not here because we're on the road, but in my home studio, which I have. So that's an awesome resource that I do have. I could totally be making more use of that, and I'm quite experienced in voiceover. So I was thinking I should really do more audio programs. I know we do a lot of these power prompt playlists, and they're super fun and accessible. But I would say that I personally am a very audio focused person. There's like visual learners and kinesthetic learners and things like that. I love like audiobooks, and I'm just like obsessed with audio. I've always been a good mimic. I know that's a weird skill. It helps with language learning, but I think I'm gonna start doing some more guided audio journaling programs. So be on the lookout for that. And then what else do we have here? Um, oh, okay. So in terms of well, I guess this insight came up a couple of times in these prompts, and that's in my opinion, I think that's how it's worth exploring further. But for the power of perspective prompt, where you would tell what would you tell your friend going through the same situation. um, One of the things that I would tell them, and this pertains to how to grow Journal Party and how to get this community bigger and better for all of us. And one of the things that I would advise a friend in my scenario is to build affiliates, because we spend a lot of money on advertising. If you can't tell, you probably see me hucking these journals, and I actually lose money whenever people just buy a journal, and only if they buy all the other stuff does it actually make financial sense for us. So gotta get better about that. But one of the things that I would advise a friend about that is to reach out to other creators. There's so many people out there who are coaches, who are consultants, and therapists and things like that, who they understand the value of journaling, and we have all these great resources that we could provide to their audiences as well. And I really, maybe it's because of lack of experience with this, but I haven't really done enough to create partnerships with those people, and it's actually something that we are well equipped to do. So if anybody out there is a coach or counselor or anything like that, and you want to collaborate on getting journaling programs out to people, or even free journals, hit me up, because I would love to equip you with the ability to do that. We have the fulfillment team in place and everything like that, and I would love to give you guys money for that as opposed to Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook. And, they're just ringing us out on these ads. So that's another thing that came up for me. And let's see. I see some of you guys are already putting some stuff in there. Okay, Annie said, for the advice to a friend, I like to recommend asking what they have actual control of and what they do not, and start from there and what they can do. Sometimes when we are upset, we can't see the solutions because we're so focused on what we don't want to happen versus what has actually happened. That is great advice. Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite things in the world is the Serenity Prayer. Whether or not you're religious, I would say it's applicable. Just the having the wisdom to know the difference between the things that you can and can't change. So the things that you have control over or not. And I mean, it's super applicable to my life. I will admit I am a control freak, and I start to freak out a little bit when I don't think that I have that control. And you're right, I start to focus more on the things that I don't want to happen versus the things that I can actually affect. And so, super good advice. Thanks, Annie. Appreciate that. Darlene said, the prompts kept me writing until the time ran out. I usually have time to post emojis. Yeah, I was wondering where the emojis are. Um, well, it's good if your brain's working and your pen's moving. That's all good here. Peter said, these have been really insightful. I've been writing the whole time too. Awesome. Good, good. Yeah. I appreciate the feedback too. I feel like we've sort of hit a standard for these things where, 10 prompts, 3 minutes per prompt is about what we need. Of course, you can always go back and watch the replays, or if you have premium, you can access these programs, and you can pause, you can skip around and things like that. But if it's ever like way too long or way too short, definitely let me know, because we can always improve these programs. They don't all have to be 10 prompts, 3 minutes per prompt and stuff. Let's see, Darlene said, adapt and overcome was a revelation about how tapped out I am with one situation I'm dealing with, and I really need to do something as I'm ready to raise the white flag, then the green one for go. Yeah, so I mean, without knowing too much about your situation, I would just say the thing that just kind of jumps out at me is that you're feeling tapped out, and I think that when I get that way, um, oftentimes, because I'm so eager to have the outcome that I'm pursuing, I won't stop and I won't rest, and it's not a good thing to do to yourself. So I think that if you're ever feeling tapped out, it's a good question to ask yourself, whether or not you're well rested and actually equipped to handle the problem at bay. And I think if the answer is no, I do need some rest. Rest is productive, and I'm still learning that myself, because I am a workaholic. I love just steamrolling through these things, and I sort of get off on feeling busy, like feeling productive. But the reality is that when my own personal energy resources are down, the quality suffers, and then I end up having to do a ton more work on it anyway. So that's just my personal scenario. Again, I don't really know too much about what you're going on, but wish you the best on that one. Kathy said, following through on my creative thoughts and not personalize the naysayers. My art can provide an income I haven't tapped into. My public speaking can reach an audience that feels forgotten or overlooked. Awesome. Yeah. Well, I would always encourage you to flex that creative muscle. You know, I'm not sure how familiar people are with my story and how I've come to be doing this with Journal Party, but it, I also work quite a bit in the tech space, which can be pretty draining and can be pretty soulless often. And like I said, I'm a bit of a workaholic, and so I was burning the candle at both ends. And it wasn't until I actually had a little bit of a break from that that I was able to get a little bit more intentional about how I wanted to show up in the world and the things that I wanted to be applying myself towards. And one thing I did know was that I was a creative person. That was like one of my core values. I think creativity is, like uh, maybe one of the most important things that we have as human beings. I think it's, I mean, personally, I'm somewhat spiritual, and I think that that is how we reflect our creator, is by being creators ourselves. And so, that's just my own personal belief. But I can say that in having pursued that, it's been tremendously rewarding. That's not to say that it hasn't been tremendously difficult. Like, it will definitely be difficult to try to break conventions in terms of how you get income and things like that. But it is incredibly rewarding, and I think, you know it. It's the kind of thing that, now that I've committed to that, I have no problem like springing up and getting out of bed every morning to work on what it is that I'm pursuing here. And I think prior to having made that commitment, that was something I was searching for. I was like, man, like that was in my prayers. It's like, please just give me something that I can get up and I can be excited about getting up for every day. And also something where, when I lay my head down to rest every evening, where I can say, I'm glad that I left it all out. That if I drain my tank of energy, I'm glad that's what I did it on, right? So, yeah, let us know how we can support you in that, Kathy. It's awesome. Darlene said, I'm at the place where I just don't want to do it anymore and let the chips fall where they may, and I go do my thing. Well, sometimes, letting things go is important. I would be careful about just straight up resignation on things that are important to you, as well, though. So, yeah, again, without knowing too much about the circumstances behind that, you know, it sounds like you may just need to give yourself a little bit of rest. And I see Deidre's got some good advice here, making a list of pros and cons. And actually, we if this is coming down to a decision for you, let me get the music going again. Sorry, if this is coming down to a decision for you, we have some decision making programs in the Journal Party app that could be helpful for you as well. And a lot of times, I mean, there's like that energy component of it, and then there's also just like the sheer volume of information that you may be dealing with. That's one of the main reasons I journal, is that I I'm an overthinker. It's really easy for me to get overloaded and bogged down by all the information that's swirling around in my head. And oftentimes when I'm stagnant, it's not because like I don't in my heart know what I need to do. It's just because there's too many things that are swimming around in my head, and I can't have clarity in that situation. It's hard to commit to things. It's hard to be single minded, which I think is super important. And so, yeah, I think you got some good advice there. Making that list of pros and cons. Um, Lost my thing here. Okay, there we go. Yeah, sometimes we owe it to ourselves to stop, regroup, and go back at it, provided the pause can create some space for peace. Yeah, that's awesome advice, Deidre. Mary said, I love how you brought up how you want to show up in the world. That is my bonus writing prompt. Yeah, that's all from my therapist. I think one of like our first sessions, that's how he articulated that, and I really resonated with it, because I think we all have some idea about how we are showing up in the world, and either it matches our template for what we want for ourselves, or it doesn't. And I think that distance, being able to intentionally close that gap, is um, largely a secret, for finding happiness and fulfillment. Christina said, I think the nature animals prompt really hit home. That's awesome. Cool. I was a little worried about that one. It's been a very cold winter, and I'm challenged with depression going on year 4. This year, I wanted to support myself better through the season that I used to love. I was already embracing hibernation, but also got to thinking about migratory birds. What if I could plan a trip in January or February to get some sunshine and relax? So it's like hibernating migration. That's an awesome insight. That's so cool. Yeah, I've thought about that myself. We've been entertaining like a move to from Los Angeles to like maybe the Pacific Northwest. And I keep kind of stopping myself because I'm not sure that I can handle the cold. I've never lived anywhere cold or like kind of gloomy, which I know that when it is gloomy outside, I tend to get that like little bit of a seasonal affective thing, and that's actually something that we had discussed. Is like, well, what if we got some place that was like cheap enough to where we could afford to go somewhere else when it gets to be how we don't want it. But yeah, let us know if you go anywhere cool, or let us know if you need any insight from the community on a nice place to escape that the gnarlier weather for some sunshine. I mean, normally I would say normally I would say Los Angeles is a great place for some sunshine, but yeah, it's also unfortunately a great place for fire. So yeah, maybe skip Los Angeles this season, but yeah, actually, you know what? Down here in Encinitas and Carlsbad, it's beautiful. It's awesome. And actually, you know, you mentioned that you liked that prompt. I actually had, I mentioned earlier that I wanted to get more people involved, like affiliates and other creators and stuff like that, and give them the opportunity um, to make use of our resources at Journal Party, and offer all the things that we've created to their audiences as well. And that my thing from nature was actually ants, because I was just thinking about how ants, they're so tiny, but like, you ever see those time lapse videos where there's you just see over time like ants moving something that's just like a whole animal or something like that. And it's crazy because like I don't know what the actual math is, but it's like many times their body weight over. And I think a lot of it is just because they rely on the collective. I guess bees are similar in that they all work together towards that common goal. And I think, if I'm honest with myself, some I don't reach out enough, and I don't rely on other people enough. And there's probably a lot of reasons behind that, but I think the reality is if I were to open things up a little bit and rely on the collective a little bit more, then I could probably get a lot more, or a lot bigger things accomplished. So something I'm thinking about. Darlene said, "This is a situation where I can't control it and it's overtaking my space, and I'm always in control of my space, but I have to reset so I don't hurt the person who I love and care about." Okay, so um, the first thing that comes to my mind with that is I would check out like one of our boundaries programs in the relationships area of the app. And even if you don't want to go do a whole deep dive into that, just asking the question, what is a healthy boundary that I can set here? Interpersonal relationships, especially when you really care about the other person, it's tough when things get a little bit difficult. And it's not because you don't love and care about them. It's just, we've all got our own stuff, and we've all got our own well-being to protect. And so just because you set a boundary doesn't mean that you can't be helpful, or that you don't want to help. But sort of like what we were talking about before with like the rest is you're not. I know that when I don't rest, that I'm not actually being as helpful as I want to be, in terms of like the things that I'm putting out there and the things that I'm creating. And so, again, I don't really know too much about this scenario, but I do know a lot about having to deal with just interpersonal relationships, particularly ones where you care about the other person, but maybe there's too much being asked of you, or someone's in your space, or it's too much. And we're all human beings, and I think there's got to be a little bit of grace in that. And we all we as much as we want to try to transcend our physical limitations and things like that, there's just going to be times where you have to put that sort of boundary in place, and I think that uh, there's ways to articulate that without being off-putting, and so yeah, I'll see if I can find some resources for you there. I mean, like I said, we do have some pretty good boundary setting programs. I think there's got to be at least one podcast episode that I've done about that. And, I think if you're coming from a place of love and your intentions are good, then that's really all that matters. Provided that you're not ignorant of a situation and you're not, creating harm out of that ignorance. I think that hopefully your loved ones can understand that in order to help them, that you need to, be able to help yourself first. Kathy says, the power of perspective. I didn't get in this slump overnight, and I won't get out of it overnight. Go at a pace that works for you and don't stop until it's done. Remember, you are human. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Human. Yeah, I feel that one. I feel that one a lot. Delayed gratification is I guess it's a really like lucrative virtue. There's been some research done. I don't know if you guys have ever seen um, that marshmallow experiment, right, where they had the kids and they said that you can have one marshmallow now, or if you don't eat the marshmallow until the lady gets back, you get two marshmallows. And it was a test on delayed gratification, and some kids were able to hold out, other kids were like licking the marshmallow and just couldn't do it. But they actually followed up with those kids, and interestingly enough, their success in being able to delay that gratification and have patience um, was a strong indicator for like their actual like net worth. I think it actually came down to like their earnings and their success levels. So you have to double check me on that research there, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Like if you're in a slump, you didn't get there overnight, most likely, and it could be a process to get out of it. I think we all wish we could have this magic wand and wave it and have circumstances be the way that we want to, and maybe you guys are getting real good at manifesting or whatever, but for the rest of us, it's a good idea to be able to it's a good idea to be able to acknowledge that that you do have limitations, and that's a-okay. And the one thing that I, gosh, I remind myself of this all the time, but I'm still learning it, is that whether you do anything about something or not, the time is still going to pass. And as I get older and I see how quickly that time passes, like how, just in the blink of an eye, a year goes by. Whereas like when I was a lot younger, a year felt like forever. And I think when I was younger, like I didn't do certain things. Like I didn't want to go to grad school because that felt like forever before I got to actually like be a participant in the real world. But sometimes I think like like that would have been like no time at all, and I right, like at least as I see it now. And there's that power of perspective, a little different than how we phrased it in the prompt, because I think that one was more about like what would you tell a friend, but I guess that's what I would tell a friend. So let's see. Annie says, I learned once that sometimes the reason you are stuck because the world needs to move around first. That's interesting. I never heard that. That's cool. All right, let's see. Felicia was late tonight. Well, glad you made it. Kathy says, I love how you bring up therapy as a normal activity. When I do it, I still get those weird looks. Trying to fix me alone only did more damage because I didn't break me alone. Yeah, help. It's okay to get help. I, for the longest time, didn't want to do therapy because, I didn't want to be the sort of person that needed it, and whether I needed it, is debatable, but that's like such a weird lens to look at it. I mean, now, outside the scope of mental health, if I need something, or like if I don't know something, or I want to do something better, you go to the person who's equipped to provide you with whatever information you need, whatever help you need, whatever resources you need. And so now it makes all the sense in the world to me. And I really hope that, I can be helpful in just knocking out that stigma, because, um, I mean, uh, like, look, I'm sure we all go to, like, I'm sure, people go to therapy, like they have, different, all sorts of different things going on. And that's okay. We're all different. And again, we're all human beings with our own sets of limitations. But, I think maybe the most important thing here is just, the willingness to grow. I mean, that's why I did it. It was because I wanted to be better. And, I prior to getting into therapy, I was a journaler, and so I had the ability to kind of go at it myself. But once I actually combine those two, like, I mean, my therapist was thrilled that I journaled, because I was like, hey, look, I write all this stuff down. Like, I know what's going on. I just need somebody to help me sort through it sometimes, and it's just so powerful, and so I will always be a proponent of that. Darlene said, I think I just needed to say stuff out loud tonight. Thank you, Alex and Deidre. Oh, well, you're welcome. And yeah, sometimes, I mean, that, like, talk about therapy, right? Like, sometimes it's just getting stuff out. Like, sometimes my therapist says, like, hardly anything, but it's so worth the money, just because, well, I often don't want to burden my loved ones with all of my head garbage. And, I think that's why maybe I started journaling in the first place, so I could keep it kind of to myself. Like, I don't want to talk someone's ear off about my problems, but I mean, I pay my therapist to do it, so I don't feel bad about it, and it's been awesome. But yeah, sometimes just talking it out, getting it out there is super helpful. Kathy said, hidden asset, creativity, public speaking, quick learner. I can make mild to moderate repairs in my own home. That's a really good one. I just need to get it done. Yeah. So, well, if that's the case, it's like, all right, well, what do you need? You need a little motivation, cue up the motivational speaker, and get it done, or find a way. Like, what do you need to get it done? Does it need to be fun? Like that. One of the things that I've learned is, like, for chores, things that I'm resisting. If I throw on some fun music, then suddenly I'm having fun, and it goes by easily. So, I think just even the consideration rate, it gets you closer and closer to, like, the truth of the situation, which is like, all right, like, what do I want, and what do I need to get that done, and what is within my power to affect. And if it's something where you just need a little bit of a nudge, and hopefully you've accumulated the resources that can help you out with that. I know this is about resourcefulness, but again, the resources don't have to always be financial, or maybe time, or personal, how much energy you got left in the tank. But yeah, I think obviously it's a situational sort of thing. Darlene said, rest is my word for tonight, and I see it and receive it. Well, good. This is why I keep coming back to this party. You never know what will help and bless you outside of journaling. This is a great community. Well, glad you love it. All right, folks. Well, we are we're getting yeah, down to we're getting into the next hour here. I'm trying to keep these things under an hour. um, all right, folks. Well, speak of rest. I could use some. As blessed as I am to be breathing this clean air in this beautiful place down here. Um, being out of my home and away from my home, and trying to be resourceful has taken its toll on me. I haven't slept as well as I would have liked this past week, and so rest is a good keyword for me as well. And so I think I'm gonna, that was one of the things I actually wrote about, in terms of challenge and opportunity, because my dog will get me up super early and no matter what. And I'm like, well, if I don't go to bed early, then I'm in trouble. So I think I need to take my own advice there, and definitely gonna do that. But want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. Hopefully, you've taken stock of not only your resources but your resourcefulness, and you've maybe found some ways to move forward and whatever it is that you're working on. And hopefully, it's not too difficult. But hey, we've got a loving community here, and obviously. With whatever we're equipped to help you with, I think we're happy to do it. So let us know if you need any support in anything. But obviously, we talked about therapy as well, and if anything is particularly difficult, you want to you want to consider the source for any advice you're getting, and for the mental stuff, the stuff that's particularly challenging, I would encourage you all to, at least make friends with a good therapist. Try and get some free advice from people who know better. But yeah, no shame in it. I think, we all got to take care of each other, and you know, part of that I think is also not leading people astray and not speaking out of turn. And so, I got to be careful on the mental health advice that I give. So my mental health advice would be to seek professional help if you need it. And with that, I'll get off my soapbox. And again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening. Hopefully I get to go back home tomorrow. Hopefully, everyone, if you guys do the thoughts and prayers thing, please pray for Los Angeles. Tonight the winds are supposed to be nuts, and I'm really hoping that the fires don't get worse. They've actually started to get them under control, but these winds are crazy, these Santa Ana winds. So we'll be watching the news at least until I get to bed, and hopefully everything is a-okay, and I can head back tomorrow, and I won't be recording the podcast on my AirPods here. All right, folks. I love you all from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate you being a part of this community. I hope you have a wonderful